can't let you pass in our presence, because otherwise a quorum would not be present. But I do note that a quorum is present, and without objection, the chair may declare a recess at any time. The meeting record will remain open for 5 legislative days, so members may submit any material they wish to be included there. Thank you, Ranking Member Mr. Morelli, and all members of the committee for participating in last week's 2-part hearing on committee funding. It took a lot of coordination over the course of 2 days, spanning nearly 7 hours. In the end, we heard from almost every committee chair and ranking member on their proposed budgets and goals for the 118th Congress. This is one of our core committee responsibilities, and I thought it was a huge success. Yet prior to last week, the last time committee funding went through regular order was during the 115th Congress. I find that unacceptable. Transparency and accountability should be the standard, not the exception. As chairman, it's my priority to restore regular order as part of our commitment to making the People's House open and accessible. Now that we've provided each committee with the opportunity to justify their budget requests, our next responsibility is to set the funding levels. This is no easy task. As we learned last week, each committee plays a vital role in Congress and collectively touches every aspect of American life, from our national security and the border to our nation's schools and workforce. Each committee is tasked with serving the American people. As we're considering each budget, we have a responsibility to ensure every committee has the necessary resources to succeed and effectively execute their mission. However, taxpayers have also entrusted us the responsibility of being good stewards of their hard-earned dollars. That's why today's markup is vital. I anticipate that after today, additional resources will be needed by the Judiciary Committee, which will be handled through the committee reserve allocation process. With the majority of the House's work conducted in committees, this process ensures the committees are accountable to the American people. In turn, we can restore the American people's trust in this institution while making the House more open, accessible, and transparent. I now recognize the ranking member, Mr. Morelli, for the purpose of providing an opening statement, if he wishes.
Thank you. I do want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, for calling this business meeting of the Committee on House Administration as it continues to do the important organizational work necessary on behalf of the House. And today the House, or the committee, will consider a variety of things, most of which we have reached agreement on, and I'm grateful for that, namely committee resolutions to provide allowances for committees to send official mail, hired paid interns, and a new formula to determine the members' representational allowance that considers the unique makeup of each congressional district. These measures are critically important to the institutional capacity and representational duties of the House, and I support them. We'll also report a primary expense resolution that will fund committees. This resolution was informed by the series of hearings which you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, in this committee last week. Again, I want to thank the chairs and the ranking members that appeared before us in this committee room to talk about the work of their committees, the importance of the work, and to justify their requests. As I said in my opening statement last week, committee funding is historically a bipartisan and collaborative enterprise, and I'm grateful and happy to see that that continues with this resolution. We will also formally consider House Administration's views and estimates for fiscal year 2024, which somewhat curiously we'll be doing without the benefit of having yet seen the President's budget, which will be released, as I understand, tomorrow. Nevertheless, my colleagues on this side of the aisle and on this side of the dais continue to support the historic and worthwhile investments the administration has made in America's present and future, particularly in those agencies within this committee's jurisdiction that support is reflected in our minority views, which we have submitted. Like the authorization and oversight plan the committee adopted last week, views and estimates are an important memorialization of our priorities, and I appreciate the opportunity to provide House Administration Democrats' perspective. I'm grateful to you for that, and certainly happy that we've reached, I think, an agreement, and we hopefully will receive support for the resolutions before us. And with that, I want to thank you, and I will yield back.
I thank the ranking member. I'll note that I share the frustration that we're being forced to act before the President's budget is released. It's frustrating, I think, to many of us in the House that the President's budget is over a month late and counting. And so we look forward to receiving the President's budget, but I share your frustration that we're forced to act prior to the President's budget being released. I now call up and lay before the committee H.Res. 197, the committee funding resolution. Without objection, the first reading of the resolution is dispensed with. I now recognize myself for the purpose of offering an amendment in the nature of a substitute. Without objection, the reading of the amendment is dispensed with, and the substitute will be considered as original text for the purposes of further amendments. Are there any members who wish to speak on H.Res. 197? Are there any members who wish to offer an amendment? If not, the question now occurs on the amendment in the nature of a substitute. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the amendment is agreed to. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Hearing no objection, I move that the committee report H.Res. 197 as amended to the House favorably. The question is now on the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chairs, the ayes have it, and the motion is agreed to. I now call up Committee Resolution 11811, 11812, 11813, 11814 to be considered en bloc. Without objection, the reading is dispensed with, and the resolutions are considered read and open for amendment at any point. Resolution 11811 distributes the 2023 legislative year allowance of $2.6 million among each committee for the compensation of interns. Resolution 11812 allocates the official mail allowance to each committee. Resolution 11813 adopts a revised formula to calculate the members' representational allowance. I'd like to thank Omar Owen and Enrique Bouchot and John Crocker, the CAO, for their hard work on this revised formula. Resolution 11814 approves the committee's budget, views, and estimates. I'll now recognize Ranking Member Mr. Morelli if you'd like to give a statement regarding these resolutions.
I'm fine, Mr. Chairman. I'll yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Morelli. Does any other member wish to be heard regarding the resolutions? Seeing none, I ask unanimous consent that these resolutions be considered en bloc. Hearing no objection, I ask unanimous consent that the committee adopt the en bloc resolution. Hearing no objection again, the resolutions are adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. Pursuant to House Rule 11, Clause 2L, I ask that the committee members have the right to file supplemental, additional, minority, and dissenting views without objection. Also without objection, staff is authorized to make any necessary and technical and conforming changes. No other business before us. This meeting is adjourned. This is like 20 times faster than the